I just thought, oh, save us, God. But then I flashed back to a conflict I had with Majid in Israel about being left too late and without enough information. And I see why he was so angry with me, because I was very direct. So it's very interesting, to do these things and make mistakes and learn from them. Nobody died. It was okay. Well, does anybody have a Bible? Okay. Could you look up Ephesians 4, and we'll talk about unity for about 7 minutes. I think my clock is right. Oh, we'll talk about it for 5 minutes. So let's begin. What do we mean? Well, okay, conflict resolution. The premise that I'm coming to you with is it requires unity and submission. Did I spell that right? And these are the ingredients that we in Christian counseling need to deal with inside ourselves and then in the counseling office. But what do we mean by unity? So have you found, let me see, it's verses 1 through 3 and 12 and 13. Yeah. Oh, good point. Thank you very much.
As a prisoner for the Lord, then, I urge you to live a life worthy of the calling you have received. Be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to keep the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. And then 7? Oh, sorry.
12
Okay.
and 13.
To prepare God's people for works of service, so that the body of Christ may be built up until we all reach unity in the faith and in the knowledge of the Son of God and become mature, attaining to the whole measure of the fullness of Christ.
So what does that mean to you? 4, 1 to 3 and 12 to 13. What does that mean? Down here.
It means put yourself on hold.
Aha. What does that mean, Carla? Does that mean, help me understand what you mean by that.
Take yourself out of the middle of everything. Don't be so selfish and think of others. I mean, that's what Rick was talking about when he was saying, listen. Even though you have your point, you listen to their point, and you look for something. You don't just listen, but he's saying you look for a kernel of truth. That's even better than just listening, because you've got an objective that I'm going to listen and really try to think about what that person is saying and where they're coming from. So it's not just listening; it's listening without an attitude,
So I find that if I do that in spirit and truth and hang on to the counter, and I can look at the client in the eye and say, I know what I'm asking you to try. And they know. So they know that I didn't die. So maybe they can try a little bit. So it's pure religion. that's a lot to think about for a whole week. Plus, make your list, and we'll talk more about unity. I feel so strongly about this because, you know, I see more and more. I see the big feet of the dark side, just walking, just walking, just walking, and the division. If we get this, nothing can take GSM out, nothing can take the church out, nothing can take you out, me out, if we get this. So I have a passion for it. Thank you. We have an assignment. What's the assignment? The questions that you recall, and any the more that come, about how to draw out myself into going into the right place for conflict resolution, and how to. Because I'm going to use those with a client too. So we're.